Morning, sir.
Okay, I am audible now to all of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay, fine. And today we shall study about the impact of environmental pollution on human health. Okay. Now there is a term called pollution. So we know that environment and also pollution. Environment means the immediate surrounding of any living entity. We call it as environment. Any immediate surrounding of any living entity, we call it as environment. Then what is pollution? We know that worldwide there is everywhere. We are we are seeing that there is a large number of people who are making a hue and cry that the pollution should be minimized. Pollution is happening. Pollution is dangerous. Pollution is dangerous not only to the human beings, but for all living beings. But for all living beings. Now, we know that in the environment, there is lot of activities going on by the human beings, anthropogenic activities, so to say. Now, either by anthropogenic activities or by natural calamities, we are nowadays experiencing that our environment is getting polluted. Then the question is, what is pollution? So, pollution is defined as an undesirable change. It is not to the liking of any individual. It is an undesirable change. No, it is an undesirable change in where in our environment, that is on land or air or water. So, an undesirable change in any of these things, air, land, and water. And what characters that is actually causing the pollution? Say it may be the physical, it may be the external appearance or the external visibility or the external features of an undesirable change. Suppose you look at a water which appears to be greenish or blackish, giving a filthy smell. We never feel of looking at or using it or anything like that. So it is an undesirable change that we are seeing in a water body, and that undesirable change in a water body because of black color or green color, it may be due to some living entities that has been grown or due to certain chemicals that has been loaded into that water body. And the external appearance also doesn't going to be what liking to uh, uh, one's desire or one's liking. So now any such undesirable change in the physical or chemical or biological characters, I'm using the term physical, chemical, biological. So physical means the external appearance that we can make out in the physical, say quantity or quality of a material, that is called physical. Suppose there is lot of smoke, it is not maybe the liking of an individual. Chemical means there are various chemical reactions that are taking place either in soil or in water or in our air. So, and that chemical reaction may affect the plants or animals or human beings. So that is the chemical characteristic feature. Suppose you drink water, I mean, you may feel irritated, throat infection may be resulted. So it may be due to either the biological characters or due to the chemical changes in the water body. Now, biological characters, that's what I was telling. Suppose there were to be a lot of bacteria, so you may develop bacteria which may cause the human disease. So that may not be to your liking. So they are the one which are which are not to the liking of any individual. So that is called biological. So, for example, sometimes you drink water wherever it is not hygienic, and you will not be knowing what type of water it is. And afterwards, after consuming that water, one may develop dysentery or amoebiasis, something like that. So it is due to the presence of certain microorganisms in the water body, which is invisible. So presence of such biological entities can also alter the quality of water, which is not to the liking of a human being. So thus, any such undesirable change in the physical, chemical, and biological characteristics of our air, water, land, we call it as pollution. So an undesirable change in physical, chemical and biological characteristics of air, land and water, we call it as pollution. Now, why this pollution is going to be resulted? Pollution is going to be resulted in air, land or water because of introduction of certain substances, throwing of certain substances into this media. Now, how we are going to introduce these substances into the air, land or water to any media? So by our activities. So either by industrial activities or by agricultural activities or by transport activities or because of ethicless, careless way of living also. We are going to dump the waste into a water or onto the land surface. So thus, we are going to introduce certain substances into our environment, and this, when you introduce, it may cause the undesirable change. So it may cause an undesirable change in what? In either our water body or on the soil or on the cropland or in our air. So whenever it is going to be introduced into the environment, it may cause an unstable condition. So it results in instability, disorder, discomfort to the ecosystem. We know that in any ecosystem there will be living entities, plants, animals and microbes. All these will form the biotic component of an ecosystem. So it may be a small tiny organism may be affected, or a plant may be affected, or an animal may be affected, or the entire ecosystem may be affected. So once the ecosystem is affected, we know that man or the human beings are a part and parcel of this in what we can say an ecosystem. They are the integral component of our ecosystem. So thus, any such sort of pollution, okay, pollution of air, pollution of water, pollution of land or soil, all these things will cause an undesirable change in the physical, chemical characteristics. So that is what we call it as pollution. Now, pollution can be very broadly categorized into 4 kinds. That is air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and waste production. Whatever the waste that we are dumping on the land surface is also causing the pollution. So now we shall look at how this pollution is responsible for causing or resulting in the human health hazards. So we shall study one by one. First, we shall discuss about air pollution. Now, why air pollution? Why in our surrounding air is getting polluted? Because what are the sources? We are going to burn petrol, diesel, natural gas, wood. For why firewood we are going to burn. So by combustion of any such fuel, we know that certain substances, particulate matters, invisible and visible, both invisible and visible particulate matters are thrown into the atmosphere in our environment. So that is one thing. And also during industrial activities, we know that lot of smokes are being thrown or being given out into the air. So industrial process, it may cause both air pollution and water pollution, because through certain industries, we will see the discharge of effluents. Effluents may be discharged onto a land surface, during which land or soil gets polluted. If it is discharged into a water body is getting polluted, and through the chimneys, the smoke that is given out will be polluting the air. And natural process through like volcanoes, cyclones, they may also throw a lot of dust particles into the air or atmosphere. So thus, the chief sources of air pollution include combustion of the fossil fuels, industrial activities, and the natural calamities or natural process like volcanic activities, cyclones, etc. So now we shall see what are the sources of these air pollution in and around our environment during, we know that, movement through transport or transportation by burning the diesel or petrol through various vehicles, dust is going to be released into the environment, smoke is released into the environment. Waste, when we dump it into the environment and we burn it, smoke is being released. Waste itself, if at all you dump it on a land or soil, it may also cause pollution. And during household activities, like we sweep and put all the dust particles outside the home. We cut all the vegetables and we just simply randomly and indiscriminately throw it away outside our home. And even after, say, bathing or watering of utensils and other domestic purposes, the water may be discharged into a water body. But when you burn firewood, so for cooking purposes, so smoke and dust particles are being released into the air. Then agricultural practices, while separating the seeds from the fruits, that is dressing of the seeds and separation of grains from the tassel, tene or fruits. So we are going to see lot of dust is being thrown into the atmosphere. So thus, by our industrial activities, transportation activities, domestic activities, agricultural practices, we are dumping lot of waste into our environment, which may result in an undesirable change. It is going to result in an undesirable change in our atmosphere. So that will cause pollution. That may cause pollution. According to FAO report and World Health Organization reports, more than 6 million children die before their 5th birthday every year. Every year. So 6 million children are dying before their 5th birthday because of what? Air pollution. 16,000 children are it has been recorded that as an average. So they are dying from a preventable disease such as measles and tuberculosis. Now, I will come to this point as to how these things are responsible for through air pollution. So I will tell you at a bit later stage. So this is just a statistical information that I am giving you, that even from air pollution, so more than 16,000 children are dying due to these diseases, which could have been prevented, like tuberculosis and measles. And in every 22 seconds, some people who are aged between 30 to 70 years die prematurely due to certain diseases like chronic respiratory diseases or cardiovascular diseases or diabetes or cancer. So this is what is happening. More than 7 million people die every year from exposure to fine particles in polluted air. 7 million people are dying every year from exposure to fine particles in polluted air. And India is having in the top 10 air pollution of the world. So about 6 cities from India are there in the top 10 positions. You just imagine how much of pollution we are doing, especially the air pollution. And at least 400 million people have no basic health care. So facilities, of course, nowadays it may be improving. It may be improving by the plans and actions of the government. However, still there is a significant percentage of lack of social protection to the people who have been living exposing to air pollution. So that is what is happening. And when you expose yourself for air pollution, it causes various types of diseases. It may cause diseases which may be prevailing for long period of time. So that we call it as chronic disease. So which will be remaining there for a long period of time. And it may also result in a short-term diseases. And sometimes it may also result in various types of cancers. So it may affect air pollutants, any substance that is contaminated in the air and which causes the health hazards or undesirable change, we call it as a pollutant. Now, these pollutants may contain various toxic chemicals. They may contain various dangerous chemicals which may affect either externally or internally. When it has been inhaled during respiration, it may get into our body and it may get deposited anywhere in any parts of our body and may cause various disease, or it may be causing external what health hazards also. So to say allergies, allergy may be developed on our skin. So if anything may gets into our lungs, say fine particulate matter gets into our lungs, so you feel difficulty in breathing, so that may remain for a long period of time. So thus various diseases are going to be resulted due to air pollutants. Now what are the factors that are going to affect the human health? So it depends upon what is the nature of the pollutant, whether it is a spore, whether it is a dust, whether it is a husk. Husk, when they are dressing or cleaning these crop plants, lot of external seed coat that is being released, that is called husk. So that husk may be there, okay, or any leaf debris or stem debris, any debris during agricultural activities may be thrown, or during burning activities lot of dust particulate matter and the smoke may be released. They may contain various chemicals depending upon from where they are going to be originated. So that is what is the nature of the pollutant. So whether it is just a physical particle or whether it is having any chemical constituents, or is it a spore or a pollen grain, biological pollutant. So thus the factors that affect the human health depends upon the nature of the pollutant, then how much of these pollutants have been deposited either inside the body or external to your body or on the surface of your body. That is nothing but the concentration of the pollutants. So how much of the dosage, so to say, you will say ordinarily. So it is nothing but the quantity, concentration. So how much of pollutants are being deposited. So to cause a human health hazard. Then for how long it has been there, either externally or inside in your body. That is the duration of exposure. For how long you have been exposed. Suppose you are working in industry which gives aromatic smell. You feel that, oh, the smell is very beautiful. So for example, if you go to an agarbatti industries, incense sticks manufacturing industries, or some chemical industries wherein they are manufacturing certain solvents, so the pleasant odor will be coming, but it is due to certain organic vapors, it is due to certain organic substances which are in the form of invisible vapors. You have seen it. When you apply perfume or deodorants, so it gives a fragrant smell, isn't it? So when you continuously expose for those type of smell, you may develop cancer. So thus, for how long you are going to expose? Suddenly, if you just go and come, it may not affect. But how long you are going to be exposed for such type of pollutants? That is called the duration of exposure. Then the person who are going to be exposed for such type of pollutants, so what would be his health condition? So it depends upon the nature or state of the health of the person who is exposed to such type of pollutant. The person who is exposed to such type of pollutants is called a receptor. Is called a receptor. Donors are nothing but industries, agricultural activities, man-made activities, natural calamities. They are the donors, and you are the receptor. So what would be the state of the health of the receptor? So that also is going to decide. Then what would be the age of the receptor? Whether it is an unborn baby or whether it is a just born baby, whether it is an infant or whether it is an young kid or whether it is a teenager or an adult or an old aged person. So what is the age of the receptor? So it depends upon, because the resistance to pollutant, the immunity to pollutant, to fight the pollutant, it depends upon the different age group of the individuals also. Thus, the factors that are going to affect the human health are nothing but the nature of the pollutant, the concentration of the pollutant, the duration of the exposure, and the state of health of the receptor and age group of the receptor. So all these are important in what? Knowing about it, because these are the things, these are the factors either in isolation or in combination. Okay, so either in isolation, say for example, nature of the pollutant itself may cause the health hazard, or sometimes the nature, the duration, the concept, all of them. So a cumulative effect of all these factors may also bring about a significant human health hazard. So these are the factors that affect the human health hazards. And in our air, about 200 known toxic substances are going to be present in our air. It has been recorded. For example, lead, mercury, etc. So like that, more than 200 toxic chemicals are being released in our atmosphere. Carbon monoxide, particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter, right? Ozone, oxides of nitrogen, like that, various pollutants are being released in our environment, and various compounds are being released into our environment. And when we inhale these toxic substances, it may cause various diseases in almost all parts of the body. Now, what are these toxic air pollutants? That means toxic, when do you say toxic? When it becomes what? When it is going to result in the uh, health hazard, or we can say when it is going to upset the normal health of any individual. So it may be due to cancer, or it may be due to reproductive effects or birth defects, sometimes due to adverse environmental conditions. As I told you, it depends upon, even these air pollutants may affect irrespective of the age of the individuals, even when the mother is carrying the child, even in her pregnancy. So if she is not in a hygienic environment, it may affect the developing fetus of the child. And when the young ones are born, even in the children when they are playing, if the air is getting polluted, so they may develop what we can say wheezing coughs or asthma or any such type of things. Even in adults, it may result in cancers, heart diseases, so chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, it is called bronchitis or a respiratory disorder. So likewise, irrespective of the age group, we are going to see that whenever an individual is going to be exposed to air pollutants, it is going to result in the health hazard. Now, air pollutants, right? Various types of air pollutants are there, no doubt. So among these, particulate matter, small visible or invisible particulate matter are also very, very dangerous for the human health. And these particulate matter, especially through smoke and etc., when we are going to inhale it during our breathing, it may cause the bronchitis. It may result in bronchitis, right? Asthma or any such respiratory diseases, including the lung diseases. And these dust along with the smoke, so dust and smoke, if they combine together along with even water vapors, they produce certain what substances, a cloudy appearance like smoke, that is called smog. It is called smog. It may contain dangerous chemicals like sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, oxides of nitrogen. These are various chemical compounds, so to say. So dust and smoke, when they react with the water vapors, it forms a smoke, a cloudy mass in our atmosphere. So that we call it as smog. We call it as smog. Smog is a combination of the term smoke and fog. Smog is a combination of the term, it is a combination of two terms, that is smoke and fog, smog. So smoke contain the dust particle and the fog contain water vapors, and the water vapors may also contain certain chemicals. Thus, when smoke and fog combine together to form a smog, a thick cloudy appearance can be seen in our air or atmosphere, which may reduce the visibility, and it may be harmful because it contains certain chemicals. Now, the term smog is coined by a scientist called H.A.D. Walks. So, H.A.D. Walks is a scientist who coined the term smog, which is the combination of smoke and fog. This smog is commonly seen in the urban areas. It is a man-made air pollutant. Now, nowadays we are also experiencing at Delhi the ambient air quality index they are measuring. It is coming down. That is why most of the times they say the movement of the vehicles is going to be stopped. The industrial activities is going to be halted. So they are going to monitor every day this air quality. So based on the air quality index, they are going to assess whether it is going to be hygienic environment, whether it is convenient for the people to move around or to stay back or stay away from such type of environment. So that will be assessed. So this smog is very commonly seen in such areas where there is high smoke and fog formation. And the smog is of two types. Smog is very broadly categorized into two types of smog called photochemical smog and industrial smog. Photochemical smog. The name itself suggests here, smoke and fog are going to combine together to form a smog. And when during such a formation of the smog, there will be a chemical reaction. And that chemical reaction for the formation of smog is always taking place in presence of light. That is why you call it as photochemical smog. So photochemical smog is nothing but the various chemical reactions that are taking place in the smog formation under the influence of light. That is called photochemical smog. Now another kind of smog is called industrial smog. Industrial means during industrial activities, lot of smoke is being given out through the chimneys, and these smoke, whenever it combines with the fog, it forms the smog, and that smog we call it as the industrial smog. Now photochemical smog is also called Los Angeles smog. Los Angeles, it is a city in America, USA. I will come to that. So why it is called Los Angeles smog is because maximum fatality or maximum death was resulted in that city due to photochemical smog. Similarly, industrial smog is called London smog. London smog because maximum people, to an extent of 4,000 to 5,000 people died during the exposure due to industrial smog in London. So that is why it is also very famous as London smog. So types of smog are very broadly of two types. One is photochemical smog, another is industrial smog. Now, as I said, photochemical smog is also called Los Angeles smog. It is photochemically produced. That means it is a chemical reaction that takes place between various chemical substances in the smoke under the influence of light. So when it is going to take place, it forms a cloudy atmosphere, and that you call it as photochemical smog, and it is generally brown in color. The smog is brown in color. Why it is brown in color is because of the chemical substances like oxides of nitrogen. They generally, it is a chemical substance. Don't bother about the mechanism of complex formations and all these things. It is all a science topic. Just I am telling you the external visibility. It appears brown in color. So that means the smoke formation takes place due to certain chemical reactions under the influence of light. That is why it is called photochemical smog, and it is normally associated with motor vehicle emissions. That means whenever the vehicles are moving, they liberate these oxides of nitrogen volatile organic compound, oxides, like that, nitric oxides, all these things. So when these chemical substances released from the emissions of the motor vehicles, so they react with the water vapors. These react with the water vapors and form a smog which is brown in color. And these reactions take place under the influence of light, in presence of light. That is why you call it as photochemical smog. Now, Los Angeles smog, it is referred to as because, so maximum what people were affected, especially with eyes and irritations, skin allergies, many things, people were affected. See, look at this file photo. This is the Los Angeles city before smog, before photochemical smog. And here you can see here, the same area, whenever the photochemical smog is being formed, lack of visibility, lack of visibility. Now, all these things, if at all any person, oh, nothing will happen, it is after all a fog or a smoky fog, nothing will happen, like that. If you get exposed to such type of thing, various chemical substances may get deposited either inside your body or outside your body, causing various health hazards. So this was significantly motor vehicle emissions and smog formation was observed in this Los Angeles very frequently, quite often. That is why it is called Los Angeles smog. Now, another smog is called industrial smog. So, we know that industrial smoke gives out the dust, and that smoke or dust contains the carbon particles like soot, ashes, and it may contain asbestos, oil, particulate matter, lead, heavy metals, sulfur oxides. So, various chemical substances are being released through the smoke of the industries. And these smoke, when it combines with the water vapor present in the air, it forms a cloudy appearance, and that is called industrial smog, and it appears to be gray in color. It appears to be gray in color. So the grayish color is because of the soot, ashes, and other what particulate matters. Right. The brown color is because of oxides of nitrogen. So brown color is because of oxides of nitrogen in the smog. That is called photochemical smog. In industrial smog, it is due to the soot, ashes, and other particulate matter. So it appears gray in color. It is called gray colored smog or industrial smog. It is also called London smog because in the year 1952, more than 4,000 people were subjected to death because of their exposure to this industrial smog. Industrial smog. Now we know that after 1887 or so, industrial revolution has taken place in London, and after industrial revolution, many industries have sprang up, during which all the industries have started giving out these smoke or the soot, etc., to their various industries. And when the people were not aware of about this content or constituents of these industrial smog, they were exposed and they were what they died, and as much as 4,000 people were dead during that London smog. Now, this was not only occurring in London. For the first time, it was reported in 1930 in Belgium, wherein it taken away the toll of about 63 individuals. And in 1948, in Pennsylvania, 20 people were dead. And in 1952, London, this industrial smog, which was prevailing for about 5 days, could kill 4,000 people. And even after 10 years also, that is in 1962, about 700 people were dead due to this industrial smoke. As I said, it contains the fog, soot particles, oxides of sulfur, etc. So when all these, especially sulfur dioxide and water vapor, they react, the entire fog or mist will be acidic in nature. It is as good as taking an acid and spraying the acid on your body or inhaling the what? Acidic vapors. So that is what is the fate of the people, and thus the air pollution Whenever there is smoke and fog, it may result in the formation of either photochemical smog or industrial smog. So it is advisable always that during such type of smog formation, better you should not get exposed yourself, and nothing will happen. After all, it is very cloudy, very smoky like that. Still, in spite of that, people will put on the light and ride the vehicle. Okay, so even with great difficulty, when their eyes get exposed, the vapors may get into their eyes. They inhale, right? They inhale, the organic vapors may get inside their body. Their body, if at all, is not being properly covered, the skin may be exposed. So this type of health hazards may be developed. Now, another type of air pollutant is fly ash. Another type of pollutant is fly ash.
ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ
Fly
ಹೊತ್ತು
ash is nothing but a residue. It is a residue that is being generated by the burning of the coal.
ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನಾ ಈಗ ಕೇಳೋದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿನಿ, ಏನೋ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ ಒಂದು ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ದುಡಿಯಾಕದೀವಿ.
Somebody is talking, please. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. So we know that fly ash is also a type of air pollutant wherein it is being generally released into the atmosphere due to the burning of the coal. Why do we burn the coal? Because we need electricity. In India, most of the power generation is due to the burning of this coal. And when the coal is burnt, fly ash is going to be released. And what this fly ash contains? It contains dangerous chemicals like silicon dioxide, right? Calcium oxide. So various such chemical substances are being present. And India produces about 90 million tons of coal ash per year by burning about 260 to 270 million tons of coal per year for electric power generation. So just imagine how much of what fly ash we are generating. So we are going to produce about 90 million tons of coal ash, that is fly ash, per year, 1 year, by burning how much? 260 to 270 million tons of coal. We have to burn because we need power. Power for our domestic purpose, industries, and many activities. We need our electric power. And to that extent, if you produce per year, how much of land is required? At present, we require about 50,000 acres of land for disposal of fly ash every year. Every year, we require about 50,000 acres of land for disposal of only fly ash. But we know that our geographical area is 328.7 million hectares, isn't it? Our geographical area is not increasing. So with the available land, we have to manage for the disposal of this fly ash. And the utilization of fly ash in India is well below 5%, while in Germany it is 80%. A technology has been devised. For reutilization of this fly ash for the manufacture of cement, tars like substances, etc., build brick-like structures. So fly ash can be utilized for manufacturing the bricks for construction of houses, buildings, etc. So likewise, the technology was discovered by Indians, but in India, the utilization of fly ash is well below 5%, while in Germany it is more than 80%. They have adopted our technology and they are utilizing the fly ash so that they are making their land and water body being without pollution. But while in India, we dispose most of this fly ash either onto a forest land or onto an agricultural land. Even if it is not cultivated, we feel that it is barren land and just simply we dump it, or we will dispose all of them in a water body. So easiest way of disposal of waste is to dump them on the land surface or into a water body. So if you just dump like that, various health hazards of fly ash may be resulted. Various types of diseases. So a chronic cough may be resulted, an asthma. So lifelong you keep on coughing throughout the 24 hours into 7 into your lifespan. So asthma, pneumonia, tuberculosis, various such type of diseases are going to be resulted because they contain various chemical substances, including heavy metals. So coal is, if you use the coal, why do we use the coal? For generation of electricity. Most of us are not aware of the fact that India is using the highest quantum of the coal for generation of electricity. And we are not judiciously managing our power also. So only during night time or whenever it is necessary, we have to put on or use our electricity or power. But what we are doing is that very carelessly, isn't it? We put on the light, and especially the younger generations, if they are in hostels or rooms or in a rented house, they simply put on the light in the evening until they return in the midnight. They are going to burn the electricity. How much of fly ash is going to be burnt every year? I mean, coal is going to be burnt every year to generate electricity. So many people do not know about this and are aware of these things. So now another type of air pollution that is going to be resulted is the release of certain chemical substances like sulfur dioxide, compounds like sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen due to industrial activities. Whenever it is going to be released, I'm telling you in a very simple manner, sulfur dioxide is a substance. It is a chemical compound that is going to be resulted due to that is going to be released during industrial activity. Now this abbreviation is SO2. We call sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is going to be released into the air. Now when it is released into the air, this sulfur dioxide combines with water in the air, water vapors in the air, and forms what? Acidic vapors of sulfuric acid. So chemical formula of sulfuric acid is S2SO4. We say S2SO4, sulfuric acid. Sulfuric is having a combination of sulfur dioxide and water vapor. Combination after chemical reaction, it forms sulfuric acid. Now we know that sulfuric acid is the strongest acid among all the acids. It is the strongest acid and it is dangerous. Now when you release or when we release these sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, and when it reacts with water vapor, and we know that especially during water, that is rainy season, precipitation. So whenever the sulfur dioxide are being released into the atmosphere, and if it is a rainy season, the sulfur dioxide reacts with the rainwater droplets and reaches to the earth as acid rain. It reaches to the earth as acid rain. So, and this rainwater, generally we are under the impression that rainwater is neutral, it is harmless. But if your area is having the industries or surrounding area is having the industries, so you are not going to be all right, because what happens is that whenever you are being exposed to the industrial environment where there are industries, these sulfur dioxide that is released into the atmosphere reacts with the water vapors and form the acid rain. So this acid rain, if it falls on the soil, it what we can say, it destroys all the microorganisms. It may make the fertility of the soil into sterile, and if you inhale, it is dangerous. If your body is exposed, it may burn your skin and may cause allergy. If you take in the droplets of these acid rain, it may result in cough, headache, throat irritation, etc. See, look at this. And in spite of that, we want to what? Establish as many industries as possible without properly taking the measures to release these dangerous chemicals into the environment. So that is what is the result of the effects of acid rain. And scientifically we say the pH value of acid rain should be, I mean, normal rain is 7. pH of normal rain is 7. That is, it is neutral. It is neither acidic nor basic, nor it is alkaline, nor it is acidic, a pure rainwater. But an acid rain will be having more acidic nature. That means its pH value, we say scientifically, pH value well below 5.6. If the pH value is well below 5.6, it is referred to as acid rain. So thus, acid rain is due to air pollution of the industries, which may be resulted. And another air pollution that we can say is the depletion of ozone, due to depletion of ozone. Ozone, we all knew very well that O3, ozone layer, is a very protective layer. It is a protective umbrella, isn't it? Why we call it as protective umbrella? Because it is going to filter out it will absorb all the dangerous UV light, UV rays given from the sun. It is capable of absorbing all the UV rays given out from the sun, and it does not allow the UV rays to pass on to the earth. That means onto the land surface. So suppose you are going to be exposed to UV rays or ultraviolet rays of the sun, you may develop cancer, your eyes may be damaged, you may develop cataract, and some sudden changes in your DNA may be resulted. Not only in human beings, even in plants, animals, microbes, all these things may be resulted. So when such changes are going to be resulted, it causes the health hazards. So ozone should not be depleted. So if ozone is present, it prevents the entry of UV rays given out from the sun reaching the earth's surface. But if ozone layer is getting depleted, or decreased, then UV rays will penetrate and may fall on the plants or animals or human beings, during which if you get exposed, it may cause health hazard. Then, who is responsible for this ozone depletion? We are the people who are responsible for ozone depletion. How? If you ask me, all of us are using, without exceptions, generally 99.9% refrigerators, air coolers, air conditioners, etc. Now, by using all these refrigerators, air coolers, and air conditioners, we are seeing that we are responsible for the release of certain chemical substances into our environment or air, and it is called CFCs. Chlorofluorocarbons. So by refrigerator or air cooler or air conditioner, whenever it is working, certain dangerous chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons are released into the atmosphere. One single chlorofluorocarbon CFC molecule, when it is there in the atmosphere, it can damage 1 lakh molecule of ozone. So imagine, one CFC molecule can damage 1 lakh molecule of ozone. So because of such usage of such air coolers, air conditioners, we are seeing that there is depletion of the ozone. We are using the word ozone hole. Ozone hole is not the hole as such. It is not a hole-like structure that you can make it with a nail. No, it is the thinning of the ozone layer. So whatever the ozone molecules that were forming earlier, a thick layer, now it has become thin. It has been getting broken down. Chemically speaking, its formula is O3. 3 oxygen atoms combined together. O plus O plus O. Together O3. It will form O3. But this O3 is going to be split into O2 plus O due to the CFC molecule. This chlorofluorocarbons, especially the chlorine atom present in these chemical compounds is capable of dissociating this O3 into O2 and O. That is dangerous. That means if ozone layer is getting depleted, the UV rays will be penetrating to the earth. So, and wherever there is thinning of this ozone layer, we call them as ozone hole. So, ozone depletion, whenever is there, so you can see the body is being exposed, it may result in skin cancer. It is a file photo of the skin cancer. And if it falls onto your eyes, it may damage your eyes. It may result in cataract. And mutation, sudden and heritable changes may also be resulted. So, this is what is the consequence. So this ozone is depleted because of an air pollutant, and that air pollutant is nothing but CFC, and that CFC is being released by the human beings by utilization of this what? Refrigerators, air coolers, air conditioners, and various such type of what? Substances. Now, if there is ozone depletion, what will happen? So there are certain bacteria or organisms, microorganisms, they may be increasing. Herpes causing viruses. In Kannada we call it as, herpes means sarpasuttu. In Kannada we call it as. Okay. Then HIV, so maybe resulted. Tuberculosis, various types of tuberculosis, TB disease may be resulted. Skin allergy may be developed. Dermatitis, it is called. Skin allergy is called dermatitis. Leprosy, in Kannada we call it as Kushtaroga. Okay. Then E. coli is a bacteria. If it is too much in your body, it will once again result in the health hazard. So there is an elevated risk of all these things are going to be there because they increase, they multiply very rapidly, increasing their number if there is ozone depletion. Because whenever there is ozone depletion, it is not only the UV rays that are penetrating, but also there will be an increase in the temperature of the Earth's surface. So temperature of the Earth's surface, like global warming, so will be on a high note. So this increasing in temperature or warming of the atmosphere results in the multiplication of various disease causing microorganisms. So that is going to result in what we can say the chances of these diseases to the core. So that is how you are going to see. Now, any such disease that is going to be resulted due to the exposure to the particulate matter in the air, so it results in the respiration. Suppose whenever there is a dust in our surroundings, and when we are inhaling, breathing, during our breathing or respiration, when we inhale these dust particles, it results in what? Respiratory disease. So that respiratory disease or breathing problem that is going to be resulted in an individual is medically termed, in a medical term, it is called pneumoconiosis. It is called pneumoconiosis. So pneumoconiosis is a medical term that is used to represent the respiratory problem in a human being due to exposure or due to inhalation of the particulate matter, small, invisible particle like matter. And these particles may be anything. It may be a dust, it may be a silica dust, it may be a asbestos dust, it may be any such type of dust. So whenever you inhale such type of dust, it enters through your nose, enters into this windpipe, and these are the two lungs, a pair of lungs you can see here, and the windpipe is branched into two main branches. You call it as bronchi. You can call them as bronchi. It is subdivided into numerous branches, tube-like. They are all tube-like branches. You call them as bronchioles. And the tip of these bronchioles will be having balloon-like structures. The tip of these bronchioles will be having a balloon-like structures. We call them as alveoli. These are all the scientific terms. You need not have to remember, just for your understanding I am telling you. It is like airbags, balloon-like structures. It looks like a bunch of grapes. You can see here, it looks like the bunch of grapes. So they are present at the terminal end of this tube-like structure called bronchiole. Several such bronchioles are present, being given out from the bronchus, main branches, and this is given from the main windpipe. So that is how internally you can see within the lungs, you will see the bronchi, bronchioles, and the air bladder like structures. We call them as alveoli. Now, whenever you are exposed to such type of particulate matter, say in our environment, there is air pollution and you are inhaling these dust particles. So these dust particles enters here, the windpipe, enters into the bronchi, and it may get deposited here in the bronchi, or it may reach down to bronchioles, or it may reach down even to enter these what? Air bladders, air bags, alveoli, they may enter. So whenever it is going to get deposited, now look at here. Suppose you are going to see these things are going to be deposited here in your windpipe. Can you see the easy passage of the flow of the air? No. So it will be obstructed. The flow of the air, if it is a clear windpipe, the air will quickly pass, automatically will pass. If it is blocked here, blockage due to these dust particulate matter, it finds difficulty. Forcibly you have to respire or breathe. Suppose it gets deposited in bronchi or bronchiole, here also you feel difficulty. If it gets deposited here also, because ultimately whatever the air that you take in will reach the alveoli. So they get inflated. When you take inside, the alveoli becomes inflated. They are ballooned, isn't it? The balloons are filled with air. And when you exhale, once again they will contract, the air will come back, and once again it will be escaping. So that is how during inhalation and exhalation, you are going to see the mechanism on the flow of the air. If the flow of the air is obstructed anyway due to the deposition of these particulate matter, it results in respiratory problem. So that respiratory disease you call in medical terms as pneumoconiosis. It is a general medical term. It is a general medical term. Then based on what type of dust is being inhaled, what this dust contains, this pneumoconiosis can be categorized or classified into various kinds. So pneumoconiosis can be categorized into various kinds based on the type of the dust that you are going to inhale. For example, if you are exposed to coal dust, charcoal, burning of charcoal and coal burning, all these things, it results medically, the same pneumoconiosis is called anthracosis. It is called anthracosis. It is just an information I am telling you. You need not have to remember all these things and other things, just for your understanding. Where is how various medical terms have been given for various health hazards. So if the doctor recognizes that your lungs is having anthracosis, that means you are being exposed to coal dust. You have taken coal dust in your lungs. Similarly, silica dust causes silicosis. Asbestos causes asbestosis. Now, most of you might have visited the mining areas of Kudremukh, iron, wherein iron extraction and iron mining activities going on. If the iron dust has been, if your eyes are exposed to iron dust, then all your eyes become reddish brown in color, and you will see the watering nature of the eyes, and the eyes become almost red in color, and that disease you call it as siderosis. That you call it as siderosis. So thus, what is the nature of the dust for which you are going to be exposed? Based on that, pneumoconiosis may be anthracosis, silicosis, asbestosis, or siderosis. Similarly, suppose you are involved in sugarcane dressing, cleaning, packing, dumping. During all such activities, many such invisible tiny cane fibers or dust particles you may inhale, and it may get entered into your windpipe or bronchi, and the disease you call it as bagasosis. That means it is a respiratory problem due to the accumulation of the sugarcane dust particles in your lungs. That disease you call it as bagasosis. Similarly, when you are exposed to cotton dust, as in textile industries, the workers are being exposed. So it is called bisignosis. It is called bisignosis. Similarly, if you are going to expose yourself to the tobacco dust, you may develop tuberculosis or lung cancer. Lung cancer. Grain dust. Now, grain dust is generally seen among the farmers. Farmers, when they are dressing or cleaning or packing these grains, the dust that is going to be generated will be inhaled by the farmers. And the farmers, when they inhale, the lungs becomes perforated. It develops a lot of holes on their lungs. And sometimes a slit may also be resulted here and there in the lungs. It is seen only among farmers. That is why it is referred to as farmers' lungs disease. It is called farmers' lungs disease. Suppose you want to see the file photo. Just for your observation, I am showing you these file photos. Some of these photos are taken from the patients at Mysore in hospitals. See, look at that. When the person is exposed to coal dust, the entire lungs have become black in color. This is called black lungs. So here you can see on the muscles, the black dust particulate matter, they are all being deposited. So it is not a normal structure. When it is not a normal structure and the living cells on the lungs are being invaded by, occupied by these dust particulate matters, you cannot have a normal functioning of these lungs or respiration. So that is what is called the anthracosis. Now similarly, silicosis. Look at this man. Look at, he is around 35 years, already looks like very old person like. So almost he has become very weak without proper respiration, oxygenation to your blood, everything, because the silica dust are being accumulated in his lungs. Similarly, asbestos. So look at here. I told you when you inhale these type of asbestos particulate matter, so it may get deposited. It may get deposited in your alveoli or lungs, and it results in a disease called asbestosis. And when you are exposed to what? Iron particulate matter, rusty appearance of the ice is going to be resulted. So watering and rusty appearance, it's because your exposure to iron particulate matter. It is called siderosis. Similarly, when you are exposed to cotton dust particle matter, so when cotton particulate matter are getting deposited, you call it as bisignosis. It is normally seen among the workers who are working in textile industries generally. So that's why it is also called occupational asthma. It is called occupational asthma. Now, another type of respiratory problem is when you are exposed to oxides of nitrogen, it results in bronchiolitis. Bronchiolitis. Suppose you are riding your vehicle and in front of your vehicle there is somebody, whether it is a lorry or a scooter or a car, or somebody is giving out the smoke, and if you are continuously exposed to that smoke, it contains nitrogen, it results in a disease, it results in a pneumoconiosis, a respiratory disease called bronchiolitis. It is called bronchiolitis. Try to understand carefully. Though it is a scientific thing, I want to explain in a simple way of making you to understand the concept here. So I am showing you here through the arrow mark. So when you inhale the air that is contaminated or polluted with oxides of nitrogen, air enters here, isn't it? Windpipe, bronchi, like this. So when it gets these particulate matter of oxides of nitrogen, they get deposited. So it will enter here. Now this is a sectional view. It is a cut open view. If this wind is cut open, windpipe or bronchi is cut open, inside it looks like this. So inside, so here you can see the air has to move like this and move like this. So this is the passage. This dark colored, dark purple colored. So this is the air passage. This is the tube. This is the windpipe like tube here. Okay. And these are the lining layer inside. Inside it is a wall layer or a lining layer for this passage. Lining layer for this passage is there. Okay. So when you inhale the air, it enters through the windpipe, bronchi, bronchioles, and enters the alveoli. So when it's the same thing, it enters here, and it goes and reaches the alveoli. Once again, it will come from like this, comes from like this, and comes from like this, it will go off, exhale. So this is what normally will happen during normal respiration. But when you inhale these oxides of nitrogen, so these particulate matter, when they get deposited inside this tube-like structure on their wall, lining layer, so when it gets deposited, you can see here get deposited, a swelling has been resulted because they are made up of living cells. So the layer gets swollen. When there is a swelling of the inner wall layer, here there is no swelling, here there is no deposition. But here in this tube, in this bronchi, one portion I am showing you here. So the swelling is resulted. When the swelling is resulted, so you cannot see the easy flow of the air as you can see here. You can see here the passage of air. What? Air may gushing in here, right? So here you cannot see the same gushing way of or the flow of the air very conveniently into this alveoli because here it is swollen. It is swollen. So such type of respiratory problem, you call it as bronchiolitis. Here N is missing, spell mistake is there. B-R-O-N, B-R-O-N, bronchiolitis. So bronchiolitis is going to be resulted. Okay, so this is how it is going to be resulted. If you are not exposed to any such smoke of the vehicles, then it will be normal like this. It will be normal like this. You do not have any respiratory problem. So if you inhale and if these things get deposited anywhere in the what? Windpipe or its branches or in the alveoli, inflammation, swelling takes place. So it is as good as like you take a tube inside the wall. If you put something, so there will be obstruction. There will be not normal flow of the what? Air. Even if you blow, it will not be normal if something is there as obstructing, isn't it? So such type of respiratory disease, you call it as bronchiolitis. Now, this is due to the depletion of the ozone. In another 2 minutes, I will give you a break. Okay, another 2-3 minutes. Okay. Now, ozone particulate matter. So when you inhale, instead of these previous here, instead of oxides of nitrogen, if you expose yourself to ozone molecules, so then it may enter into your bronchi, like here. It is the figure. Once again, I am showing the windpipe, bronchi. This is the lung, and these are the alveoli. So when they get deposited, you can see here the black color swelling has taken place. And these normally, these air bag like structures, they are spherical or oval in shape, but they have become here, you can see constricted. So when there is constricted balloon like structures are formed, there is no sufficient of air being retained or entering here. So with great difficulty, you have to breathe in, push the air through these and then to alveoli. And once again, for the exit of the air also, it feels very difficulty to move around like this, from this one to this one, this one to likewise through your nose to go back. So that means your breathing becomes a problem when you are going to be there. So this is because of the constriction of the windpipe branches. Here you can see constricted. It is not cylindrical. It is not cylindrical. Though it is cylindrical, it is being constricted here and there. And here also here, the bag-like structures have been constricted very much. So it is not normal. So because of this, such type of disease is called bronchoconstriction. It is called bronchoconstriction. It is also a type of pneumoconiosis. It is also a type of pneumoconiosis. This results when you are inhaling the ozone vapors. So I think now I will give you a break.
Sir, before going a break, just a small doubt.
No, 1 minute. Just is it at 11:15 or 11:30?
11:15 to 11:45, sir. The break is
11:15.
Okay, okay. Okay then. Okay. Now I will give you a break. You ask me. Yes.
ಸರ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಸಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇತ್ತು. ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಬ್ರೀತ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ, ನೆಗಡಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಈಸಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ನಾವು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ